What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilkin. We're coming back to talk a little bit more about Don Quixote. Now, there are some interesting things that have happened recently in the game, and some things you need to be acutely aware of. Number one, we have a new gacha, and you probably do want to pay attention to this one, but we'll talk about that here in a moment, because the other one that's coming to my attention down here is a rerun of Otaro and Freya. Now, these units are not time limited, so it is what it is. But summoning on this actually might be worthwhile, because when you summon on this, you can get two of those rainbow crystals. Let's go into the exchange here. If I can get there. Bam. Exchange. 2 for just 1 multi-summon. Now, if you have Otaro, great. I personally do. I would love to start bonding him out at some point, but being that he's not time limited, I'm not in a super hurry to do that. He's already good enough. I don't think at this stage of the game yet, though honestly we're getting there. But at the moment, I don't think he needs bonds yet. Maybe by the anniversary, I might think that opinion may change. But at the moment, he doesn't need bonds. The nice part about this is the 1 multi, you get 2, not 1, 2 almighty rainbow crystals. So that is super worth. Remember, those can equate to getting a bond of any unit you want. So if we go over here to our exchange, or I'm sorry, our upgrades, let's just say for the sake of argument, I want to upgrade the new unit, because you really don't want to use these almighty bonds on anything that's not time limited. In my case, I'm storing all of mine for the anniversary, because I really feel like come the anniversary, that's when bonds are actually to become super important. And after that, a lot of the time-limited units that we get around that time will be pretty hard to obtain. They probably won't run for at least another 6 months. So, if I go to Awaken here, and I go to Item, I currently have 14 of those almighty bonds. I can use those to bond out any time-limited unit as needed. That basically means at the end of this, I'll have 16 of these bad boys, and probably by the time the anniversary rolls around, I'll have 2, maybe even 3 free bonds of whatever unit is dropping at that point. So, and the honest answer is here, if by that point, bonds aren't really that necessary, then I can continue holding on to these for as long as I need them. Because there are a lot of units. Like, right now, we've got, we do obviously have Otaro, we have this bell, we have the blue bell, Lefiya, who we're actually to get to here in a moment. A bunch of different units that are really, really, really solid, but not necessarily in, like, necessity of a bond yet. And the honest answer for me is, knowing how gacha games do tend to go, by the time that they need bonds, their relevancy is probably going to have expired, or at least be on the waning edge. The long and the short of it is, you don't really want to go too deep into a lot of these early units, because by the time we get to year 2, year 3, they're going to be forgotten. Unless they do like a reawakening type of thing. I do think they kind of dropped level 80 a bit too early. They probably should have saved that for the anniversary or year 2. Maybe they plan to go up to level 100 or something, which would be pretty awesome. I don't want to see what the resources required to do that are going to look like, but maybe by that time, some of these units will be kept in a certain amount of relevance. But I totally feel like most of these units aren't going to be terribly relevant by that point. With rare exception, and that might be supporters. Now, that does bring me to talk here about this blue Lefiya. There's a reason I bring her up. This unit is currently really good for, like, everything. Remember, once she gets her SA, she could drop that SA and heal everybody on the field. So, if you saw a run we did yesterday on the raid, if you've been running the EX missions, things like that, she's really, really, really solid for just about everything out there, even if blue is kind of at a disadvantage. You could just use her as an SA machine. That's it. That's what I use her for. And then once your barrier's down, you have some units like the, I think it's the blue bell that gets the realist boost. You've got the current bell, which doesn't really get a boost from it, but obviously in the EX missions, things like that, it can keep him alive. So she's really solid. She's actually a solid candidate for maybe by the time the anniversary rolls around, seeing if maybe she's one of those units, kind of like Haruhime was in Danmemo, where we want to keep them around for quite a bit of time. She's a legitimate candidate for this. Now, there's a big reason I bring her up as well, because if you don't have her, you have a brand new opportunity to perhaps go in and get this unit. And you could do it with free-to-play currency. So, obviously, we've got the Blue Bell I was talking about earlier, the one who gets the realist boost. You have Christmas Eyes, who actually I don't have. And I'm really tempted to go into this banner and try to get her. She's rock solid still, and a unit that I'm missing from my I guess my box, my bin, would be a fantastic unit to come home with. So really, if you are lacking Bell, Eyes, or Lefiya, I don't know if anybody else here is really that worthwhile. Maybe Finn. Finn's really good too, but he's more of an assist. As far as adventurers go, these first 3 units, if you're lacking any one of these 3, I would highly recommend going back into this banner. She's a unit that I think, if I'm correct here, is a unit that you're going to see a lot of in the very near and maybe even next 6 to 8 months of the game, which I know sounds like a really short amount of time for, investing in the game and all that, but that's just how gacha games go. Let's be fair and be frank. So the nice part is, and that's kind of goes back to what I was talking about with the Otaro banner, you could do one summon on the Otaro banner, come over here and do the rest of your summons over here, and maybe get one of those units. Now, the big downside here, let's go to the draw rate for a moment. The big downside of this banner versus some of the other banners is that the UR rate is up, but the honest answer here is the rates on all those units are increased. So odds of getting the unit you want aren't phenomenal, but I don't think they're ever going to get any better. I think this is as good as they're going to get during the unit's relevance. So since these units are all time limited, this is a good opportunity to go back in. Probably the best you're going to get. I hate to say, but I do think that's true. I think this is the best opportunity you're going to get for the duration that these units are relevant. And I do want to specify that. They probably will give us an opportunity to buy these units later or anything like that. But I think by the time that comes around, Lefiya at least, and most likely when she runs out, Bell and Eyes will most likely run out as well. I think she's going to be the longest lived of all these units, just for what she does, for her healing and all that stuff. Supporters just tend to last longer in that realm. It's not a great opportunity, but I think it is the best opportunity you're going to get. So if you don't have her, go ahead, go in, get her. Great stuff happening right now in the game, guys. I haven't talked about the EX mission. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments as well. We do have more Danmemo content that I need to drop for that game, but I am going to sandbag that for a later date. I am working on the edits on that, and hopefully we can start rolling those out here in the next week or two. We're getting really close to finishing the archive there, and it's just there's a certain amount of things that I need to edit, that I need to roll out, and I will need a schedule. So we're going to take a brief hiatus on that project, come back, talk a little bit more about Dankuro, and then here in a couple of weeks we will finish up that archive. So there you guys go. Roadmap for the channel as well. On top of all this stuff, like, comment, and share. I actually have another video I'm going to be dropping later on this afternoon, not related to Danmemo. This is just a general me being excited about something and wanting to share it with you guys video. I don't have another outlet for it, so we're going to drop it here and see how it goes. When we drop that kind of weird content, you guys let me know in the comments if that's the kind of stuff you also want to see going forward on this channel, and we could drop more and more and more of that stuff. I've mostly been Namachi for quite a bit of time now, but we're going to try something new this afternoon. You guys let me know what you guys think, and if you guys like that. Catch you guys on the next one, which should be up here in a couple of hours.